So dialogue is one of the easiest ways of kind of injecting more narrative into your writing for something like a This I Believe paper or a college entrance essay. So a couple terminology things. What leads into the quote, we're going to call the tag. What comes after the quote itself, we're going to call the quote. Tags almost always use speech verbs in them. So you're going to have a comma that always goes in between the speech verb and the quote itself. So if I were to flip this around and I said, dialogue is a simple narrative tool you can use to help your audience picture what is happening better, mystery droned on, then my comma is going to go here between my quote and my tag, same way. Now, if I said that speech verbs are generally used, not always. So if I were to do something like this, the students stared blankly at their computers. Why am I doing this? Because I don't have a speech verb in this tag, I don't include a comma here. I just separate these. These are two complete unique sentences. Another thing to think about is question marks and exclamation points. They don't turn to commas ever. So if I do something like, why am I doing this? Question mark. That question mark stays. Capitalization matters. So we only capitalize what comes after or what's included in the tag. Usually these are after tags. If they are not proper nouns, we don't capitalize them. If they are not I, we don't capitalize them. So here, mystery gets capitalized because it's a proper noun. Here, because it's he said, it's not a noun, so it doesn't get capitalized. It belongs to the same sentence that this whole thing does. We can also write tags that interrupt longer sentences. So for example, if I wrote something like, I'm trying to be a better writer, he said. So this is a longer sentence. I'm trying to be a better writer and I wish you'd stop bugging me. The tag here goes in the middle. So we use commas to break up the quote and the attribution. And then we use another comma here at the end of the attribution before the next quote. This way we show that it's one long sentence. Now, we can also break up longer sentences into two separate pieces. So if they were two separate sentences, we wouldn't use commas anymore. We'd want to show that they're separate sentences. So we would use periods and capitals, same as normal. So I'm going to do the same thing. So this gets a comma because we still are going between the quote and the attribution. But because now we're starting a new sentence, she said, it'd be a period, capital. Writing is very important to me. The periods and the commas will always go inside of the quotations when we're talking about dialogue. Question marks and exclamation points generally will go inside, but they go inside when they belong to what's being said, the quote. If they belong to the entire statement, is this what she asked? Then it would go on the outside. There are a couple other punctuation tricks you can do. So one thing you can do is you can have someone abruptly stop. You can have someone interrupt. So I could do something like, you never stop to and so I'm going to go on, and now I'm going to start with someone else. So two things to note here. First, I've got my dash here. So this shows that I have an interruption. You never stop to think about what are you talking about? Shows an interruption. The other thing is, every time I have a new speaker, I have a new line. The other thing is trailing off. So if I wanted to do this as it, one example of this is, and if I just did 3 ellipses, it's just like they're lost in thought. So if we're putting this all together, I might look at this cartoon up here. So I might start off now here's my speech verb and asked. So I've got a question mark. Question mark's going inside. That also completes my sentence. Because this is what he's doing. He's asking her. Now I'm going to go to my new speaker, and I need to change paragraphs. New speaker. And so now maybe I want to break this up. Really? Question mark. So this is going to be my quote. And if I want to give my attribution here, I would say Calvin asked confused. Now, that's a complete sentence. We're going to just start again. And my period should go on the inside. And then I'm going to break line because now I'm going to talk to Susie again. The other thing is I don't always need an attribution. Because I've set up this pattern of Calvin, Susie, Calvin, well, we know the next person to talk is going to be Susie. I don't need to give an attribution. So I could just say, why on earth would you rather my question mark is going to go on the inside. My speech verb. And the period goes on the inside. So that gives you an overview of the basic rules of dialogue. Hopefully it'll help you kind of integrate that more into your papers.